Founder of the North Star Action and Culture Committee, Zion Rogers.
Good morning, community. I would first like to give honor to God and to my ancestors, elders, family, and mentors whose shoulders I stand on. I would also like to give a special thank you to the amazing and powerful women who made this wonderful event possible. As a teenager, a member of the Generation Z, and an African, I am a first-hand witness of the abundance of struggles encountered by female youth of color. Poverty, racially charged microaggressions, homelessness, and trafficking are just a few of the challenges that we are presented with on a daily basis. Young women of color are becoming increasingly aware of the varying forms of oppression that are the root causes of these problems, and we are now awakening to become part of the solution. I believe that speaking up is an important step in confronting the world we have inherited, and many other youth are echoing that same sentiment. We are living out of the words of my esteemed elder, Angela Davis, who once said, "I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept." Everyone may not understand our confrontational language and actions, but there will always be someone out there that will. That's one of the reasons it's so great to be heard on today. 17-year-old actress and activist Yara Shahidi says, "There's a lack of humanity that goes behind policies that make being a black woman a pre-existing condition." I feel this lack of humanity can result in the miseducation of our young women of color, whereby we receive schooling that is not responsive to our distinct social and cultural needs. Lack of humanity can drive young girls of color to a point where we make life-shattering decisions or lose the desire to be a critically conscious, self-determined woman. But we must not let this lack of humanity take away our sense of inner peace and desire for change. We now are faced with the reality of living in an American society where the national presidency is saturated with bigotry and bullying. Profanity is the norm when our leader makes his points. But out of respect for my parents and elders, right now I'm going to be a little different than the President of the United States. Allow me to respectfully remove the shh from the it hole. Let me say it again. Remove the shh from the it hole as I make the following points. If we have a national leadership that believes there are it-hole nations, then you better believe that he is only a small part of an increasingly more blatant worldview that sees so many struggling folks as it-hole poor people, views struggling urban school districts as having it-hole schools, looks at you wonderful women as those it-hole females, sees proud races as it-hole people of color, and not to mention kids who look like me have to be considered it-hole children who are seen as expendable and only worth the profit that it-hole corporations can make from us. The so-called it-hole things I just named are all victims of a morally it-hole system that's in need of a great big enema flush. During the civil rights and black power era, the FBI's COINTELPRO aimed to destroy the efforts of well-known civil rights leaders and organizations such as Malcolm X, Angela Davis, and the Black Panther Party. What many don't know is that COINTELPRO set forth specific goals, one of them being to prevent the growth of militant organizations, especially among youth. Specific tactics must be used to prevent these groups from converting young people. Genuine conversion of young women of color or a youth uprising is what the powers that be truly fear. Not only an uprising as we've witnessed in Sherman Park and Ferguson, but an uprising in consciousness, an uprising in our willingness to unify, a conversion in our consumer spending habits, and even a conversion in our appetite for the unhealthy elements of popular culture. The adult women in attendance today, please know that as young women of color, we sometimes are unintentionally silenced by the leadership roles that are held by many of you. However, our desire is to build intergenerational bridges, respect your wisdom, glean from your knowledge, and yet not feel intimidated as we respectfully insist that our voice matters and that it will be heard. Young people often hear you say, "You are the future," but young women of color hope to shatter that cliche by saying and demonstrating that we are the now. Thank you and God bless.